All right, so we're live. To anyone watching this, you're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet. It is a community on the internet that gets together and plays cool tabletop role-playing games with cool tabletop role-playing players, such as the ones I have here with me. If you want to check them out, gauntlet-rpg.com. There'll be a link down below. They do a lot of stuff. They have a quite busy blog, some quite busy forums. They've got a zine every month that publishes supplements to existing games and their own original games. There is a robust podcast network. And of course, there is the Hangouts calendar to which this game is arranged. This is the tentative last in this tour of in development mech games in this Mecha monthly series that I've been running. We are playing Too Good to Be True by Michael Prescott, who folks might know as the writer slash designer of those fun one-shot trilemma adventures that are around in the internet. I'll put a link down to his blog where you can find this and stuff. He just recently concluded a Kickstarter compiling all these adventures together. They're really cool. Check them out. Michael, if you're watching this, hi. This game is cool, and you're cool, and I haven't played with you since God.com. We should play together again. All right. So before we jump in, let's kind of introduce our players to each other, partially because yeah, it's just good etiquette. And I should remember to introduce myself because I keep forgetting. My name's Leandro. Hi, I'm the GM. I use he/him pronouns. I'm wearing a shirt with Max. Max. Yeah, so I'm in it today. So I'll go through players I have on my screen. Introduce yourself, pronouns, and you have a cool thing you want to shout out on the internet, whether it's something you're involved with or something you just want to shout out, do so. It's fun to shout them out. I'll start with Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. I've been with the Gauntlet for a little over a year now, and I don't have anything to shout out.
Yeah, I should say that's perfectly fine as well, because some folks have been like, yeah, Joe, don't have anything to shout out. That's perfectly fine. That's fine. Up next, Diana.
Hola, as I go by Diana Moon online, I use she, her pronouns. And right now, the main thing that's going for me is I play on the I Need Diverse Games Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/INDG every Sunday night from 6 to 8 p.m. PST, where we play indie games and we're a group of people of color playing role-playing games. We're starting a new one tomorrow night, and we just finished a 2-part arc of a game from the Codex, which I will be uploading to YouTube, the Paranormal Minstrels, which was really fun to do, and it's really easy to fail in that game. And that was from the Bones Index, the Bones Codex, if anyone's interested in checking out Paranormal Minstrels. We're you musicians who fight ghosts.
The game is really cool. I don't know how you build a game around rolling d12s, but there you go. Anything that's shouted out, we'll have a link down in the description if you want to check that out. Rich, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rich Rogers. I use he, him pronouns, and I've been with the Gauntlet for a while, and I run games, and I actually just ran a game before this game, and luckily it ended early, so I was able to put a pizza in the oven, which means there's a possibility I may disappear for a brief period to fetch said pizza, but if that happens, I apologize. You can kill my character. And if I have to shout something out, I would be remiss if I did not mention that my currently ongoing Kickstarter for Hit the Streets, Defend the Block is striving towards accomplishing one stretch goal for my buddy Mad J to write a neighborhood that sounds amazing, and I really want it, so please back it. And then I have the next stretch goal, which was based off of an NPR report, and I'm like, yes, that should be a neighborhood. So Hit the Streets, Defend the Block, street level supers using a dirt simple system that is super fun. And it's about not just kicking supers' asses, but rebuilding your neighborhood, which is fun. There, done. That's my thing. Thank you.
Definitely check that out. There'll be a link down below. I'd be remiss if I'd also don't link Rich's YouTube profile with all his APs. So the AP of that game and lots of other games that he's running and playtesting. They're all really cool. Check those out. And last but not the least, already kitted out to look like he's about to go to war. Robert, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rob. I use he, him pronouns. I've been with the Gauntlet for, I think, 2 or 3 years at this point. Lost count. I don't have anything in particular to shout out this week. So I'll just move on.
That's perfectly fine. All right. So before we jump into the game, let's talk about safety tools we're using. I always try to make sure that conversation goes before we get into the game proper. So I mentioned this all broadcast, but we have our lines and veils. For those watching who don't know, lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in the fiction. It's just we're not going to go there. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but it can happen in the fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. We'll either push it off camera or just fast forward over it, so to speak. We're also using the X card. Oh no! Apparently we're frozen for Rich. Oh dear. I hope we froze in a position that's flattering.
I'm back. I'm back now. Okay, it's just weird. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. We're also using the X card for this series. Basically, if we roll into a scene where folks feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, it could be any reason, they can say they want to X that either in the chat or on the Roll for a Party. You can message myself. I might ask some questions on what's being X carded, but no one gets to question if it's used. If it's used, we'll roll back and try something else. And finally, we have an open door policy. So basically, if for whatever reason folks need to step away from the table, whether because there's an emergency, whether you're more tired than you thought and you need to lie down, or you need to go for, I don't know, a pizza that's burning in your oven, or you do what I do, which is drink more than half your water before even starting the game, and yeah, there we go. So, and you need to step away. We can pause the game at any time, and people can call break at any time. Like I've got, break scheduled, but again, yeah, we'll accommodate yourselves. The important thing is, being comfortable with each other as we play. All right, so too good to be true. Let's just start out at the first page. I've told kind of folks off screen what the pitch of this game is. This is a in development mecha game. It takes from BattleTech, so it's a lot of like giant, stompy, dusty war mechs. These aren't your glamorous Gundams, your disgustingly spindly Code Geass type mechs. They're like, God, not only are you like a terrible metaphor for fascism, your mechs are ridiculous. No, this is like down to the ground. Sorry, Code Geass fans, but okay. But you're down on the ground. You're soldiers first and foremost. Well, not even, you're mercenaries. You're here to fight people's wars, make a living, try and just make hay while everything's going to hell, so to speak. So let's see what they have here. So let's start at the start of the PDF. Players are members of a mecha mercenary company. Each is the inheritor of a centuries-old combat mech, a relic of a bygone era of advanced battlefield technology. All right, so we're going to start with the two things we need to define our company. If we go to the company tab in the character keeper, we'll need a name and origins. Names. Yeah, the Roll for Your Party is actually in the company page. Should be there. Anyway, yeah. Let's scroll down just a bit. See what the stats are for the company. Company starts out with 1 cash, 1 supply. Hold on. This character keeper is it's a bit last minute. 0 salvage. All right, so we'll start with name and origin. Basically, names. All right, those are usually the hardest part of anything, especially if you're naming something collectively. I just had to do this with a game of Spire yesterday. We're like, "What's the name of the newspaper we're writing for?" Oh God, All right. Okay. So really, any suggestion for the names is right now. To give you more flavor on like Spirewire is a good name. To give you a flavor of where we're at, we're kind of in a fairly dusty planet that's being fought over for resources. Basically, it's kind of grimy and dirty. It's a dust bowl sort of Midwest sort of planet. But obviously, that might not or not have anything to do with the mercenary company you're working for. We'll, unless anyone has a suggestion for a name, we'll put that to the side and instead look at the origins, origins of the origin of your mercenary group. So there's three options. There's military traditions, as in you work for the military. We all came from the military. That's fine. There's a for-profit business. You're here to make money. You're here to that's the long and short of it. You succeed in missions to up your standing with the war and make some more money. And there's freedom fighters. That you believe in things. You have a cause, so to speak. Is there any origin that's striking out for anyone? Because they provide like different benefits as well.
I mean, it'd be interesting to do either for-profit or freedom fighter.
Yeah, I think freedom fighters is speaking to me. Although I'd also be down for profit.
I'm kind of leaning towards for profit because it seems like tonally that's where this game maybe wants to be.
I'd be fine with either, but I prefer freedom fighters because I was playing part of an oligarchy last time.
So you're saying you don't want to be working for a company that are complete bastards, just somewhat bastards this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that could be interesting. Like for profit basically means that you're kind of bought in on what you are. You're a mercenary group who knows what they are. Freedom fighters kind of implies you're not fighting against what the war is, but like you're standing for a cause. You're kind of putting yourselves in a pedestal, so to speak. So actually look at the benefits of what you get. For profit means you get 1 extra cash per mission. You increase mission pay, and freedom fighters you get +1 reputation. Reputation is more. It kind of helps you out on dealing with NPCs and dealing with downtime. Like it gets you more access to stuff. But also, if you go for profit, you have more money to get some stuff. So really, it depends. You can have more access to stuff, or you can have more money.
We may have to roll for it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Since okay. All right. I'll roll for it, and I'll roll actual dice because I don't get to play IRL. I don't get to roll these dice that often.
Come to California sometime.
It's a bit of a way. Ireland is a bit of a ways away from California. Okay, so I rolled a 2, and that in my arithmetic that means for profit. So yeah, 1, 2 is for profit. 3, 4 is freedom fighters. I should have mentioned that before I rolled this. All right, so okay, it sounds like you're all in it for the money. I mean, individually, each character might not be in for the money. It's just that this company has a reputation as started out as a for-profit business, which means folks are like, oh yeah, you get the job done. So yeah, just get more money.
Maybe they have scholarships for like the freedom fighting.
Maybe that's up to yourselves.
Or what you would call it, like pay by monthly kind of thing.
Yeah. All right.
To keep the whole image of like we're a good company kind of thing.
Nice. All right. So let's go back to preparing to play on the second page in the PDF. So that we got a group. We've come up with a name. If anyone has a suggestion for a name, shout it out at any time. Probably in the chat or just shout them out. It's fine. I don't mind. When you start play, roll 2d6 to determine the company's assets and reputation. Who wants to roll? Who wants to roll 2d6 to determine how your reputation is and if you've got any cool assets? Who wants to make that roll?
I'll do it.
Okay. All right. So first roll. All right.
So are we using deeply charmed stag or marginally open hog?
Ooh. Ooh. Shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I threw one up just because I didn't know there was one already. So I don't care.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought I was trying to help. Sorry.
no worries. Yeah. We'll use stag because that's the one linked in the character
Okay.
page, in the company page.
All right. Drum roll. That's a 9.
All right. Okay. So 9 to 10. Okay, you've got a dropship. It 9 to 10 is like the good one. You've got the dropship with 2 quirks. Quirks are weird things that are wrong with the ship. Dropship means you're mobile, as in you can get around places. And I need to remind myself at the break to make a separate a thing for your dropship because it does come with like stats and whatnot. And cool. And your reputation starts at 0. Don't worry, reputation always starts at 0 or negative. So you build up reputation as you kind of do stuff. Unless you went with the Freedom Fighters, in which case you would start with 1. But no, it's fine. You could have rolled worse. All right. So after that, we're gonna do characters. So that's kind of like the long and short of like the mercenary company. That's the most we'll need to make up. And now we can do characters. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 playbooks. Because this is kind of, we're only doing 3 sessions. If it's a longer campaign, you can kind of get to pick the mech you start with. But since this is kind of the equivalent of a kickstart, we'll just start with the default mech each playbook has. So it's fine to double up on the first 4 because they're kind of the more generic ones. The latter 2 are weirder ones. But yeah, have a look through the playbooks and their respective mechs and see which stands out for yourselves. If you got questions on like what some of the terms mean, feel free to shout them out. Like we'll learn some of the stuff as we play, but if you want to find out now, like, oh, what's this snafu thing? You can ask at any time while y'all give it a look. So what playbooks are speaking out to folks? Actually, no. That's not enough time to give you all a look through all of them. I'm sorry. I'm getting too excited. Ignore me for the next 2
I
minutes.
glanced at them last night. I kind of want to play a rigger, and retool a character I played in another game. Cause yeah, rigger's fun.
I think I'm into the hot shot.
I wonder why. That sounds familiar, Alex.
Look, there's a certain type of character I like playing, and they're always jerks.
A hotshot doesn't technically have to be a jerk. They just
Oh,
tend.
but she will be.
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I tend to have a type too, but I'm playing a different type this time.
I was trying to decide between veteran or lieutenant. Probably going to go with veteran, just because of the mech mostly.
I'll go with mercenary.
right. Okay, so let me see. Let's go back up the starting page. All right, so yeah, just I'll let you all create those characters then. I think everyone has their own thing. Again, I wish I had more time to build out this character keeper in a better way, because some of so the playbooks are all kind of laid out differently. Like you'll notice people have like different, the way harm is laid out for folks, for some folks are different. So just like, but yeah, let you fill out those the sheet then. Give you a few minutes to do that.
For the lineage part, is there information yet on what those different terms mean?
Oh, there is a page of this game's setting. I'll go through it very quickly. Let me double check. Sorry, you know what I should do? I should have this PDF in 2 separate tabs, so I don't have to keep scrolling. Let me do that. So yeah, lineage is basically, yeah, it is more flavor. It is kind of like where you are in this setting. Oh, come on, load. All right, there we go. So say, well, that's a lot of tables. Why do I have so many tables? So say the Concordat are, it's like a small, but like, let's see. Yeah, they're small but they're ship based. They're like a small fascist fleet that kind of hates technology. If you're from there, that means you're in exile, because I'm not gonna let you play as a fascist. But yeah, Concordats are, that's where they're from. Dendrites are from a big colony system. They claim to span from Earth, as in like, we're the colony arms reaching from Earth. People from the Dendrite are like, about human unity. That's what they are. The Factori are, let's see, they're a bit weird. Apparently they're robots. They might be robots. I'm reading through these paragraphs. They might be robots. Apparently came from nowhere. They're just like, yeah, no, I think they are robots. Yeah, no, Factorio robots. Don't worry about lineage. Like, I don't know, we'll play into that too much. Let's see. And Earth is Earth. Dendrite are the colonies, but Earth itself has its own place in this setting. It is apparently very icy right now where Earth is, because some sort of climate change happened. Let's see. But yeah, Bruce Holdborn. Holdborn are those born in space. They live in like space stations. They're like, what if they're Concordat but not fascist? I guess they're more like, look, we like to live by ourselves. We come from space. We're non-militarized. And cysts. Why are they called cysts? They're from highly technological planets. They're like they love their technology. There, but those are just like lineages. That's where y'all came from. Backgrounds are a bit different. XO is like, XO means exoskeleton, so power armor. So like you all went from crappy Iron Man armor, not even Iron Man armor, the North Korean armor that briefly shows up in Iron Man 2. That's a bit of a cut. That's that kind of exoskeleton. That's what XO means. You might meet some of them. Who knows? Depending on which mission you pick to do. And if you're watching this, Michael, I'm sorry for mangling the stuff you wrote. I'm very sorry. I know there's like pictures for those mechs, but feel free to sub in your own mech, so long as it's kind of like fits that profile. But if you want something that's a bit different from the pictures that are there, I put some of the pictures in the company tab, but want to try out other things, that's perfectly fine. Just keep to the aesthetic of like, they're not like, they look kind of humanoid as opposed to fully humanoid. They're more like Metal Gears, I guess. Oh man, they didn't even think of Metal Gears as mechs. Huh. Shows how much I know. All right, so another thing to do after like you start creating is you're gonna roll history. So all mercenaries start with history with one other mercenary company. So it's kind of like this game's way of like, oh, you've got background stuff that you've done before you came to this company. In the preparing to play page 2 on the PDF, there's more tables. This game has a lot of tables. And again, I've mentioned this off broadcast, but having not played many RPGs, I'm new to the joy of rolling on a table. So far, but you'll roll history once you kind of finish up with everything else.
So for the mechs, the whole choose option, the choose two options, that's from all three, at least for Gargoyle for mine, all three lists. I can only choose two of those three sections, correct?
Yeah, like just two overall from all those lists. So like say, let's see, Gargoyle, you've got armor and auxiliary now. You can choose two from all those choices, but just two overall. So say you can choose like one armament and one extra auxiliary, or one armament and extra armor.
Oh,
Keep
this is
seeing,
gonna be hard.
yeah, there's a lot of choices, isn't there? And there's a lot of like terms again that if you want to know what they mean, you can ask. Just so you can make your choices. Just so you know that if you choose something, that's maybe not what you thought it meant.
I don't really understand the difference between mech and type.
Yeah, that is a. I think that came from the character keeper was copying.
Okay,
I'd
that's
say
cool.
under mech, just you want to give it a name. You want to give a name to your mech.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and appearances is basically like a 1 or 2 word description on the mech's overall like just look or demeanor. Like the time I played it, mine was gleamingly greasy, which is because I was playing a hot shot and I need a fast mech. And you know, if it's a greasy mech, it must be fast. I don't know if the logic bore out when the actual combat happened.
So is a grafted subsystem from another model just like any of those things, or is it just auxiliary things?
I think it means auxiliary things. Make a note to make that more obvious to Michael to make that a bit more obvious. But yeah, I think it means auxiliary things because
Okay.
I don't know if you're you can. Yeah, I think it means auxiliary.
Just so I'm clear, there are 2 that are already marked on veteran for special. Do I choose 2 more?
Yes.
Huh, okay.
I love one of the veterans movies. You can predict a total clusterfuck. Like, okay.
So on the Mac, when it says choose two options, does it mean like just two out of the boxes below it?
No, it means two from like any of those three categories. So you can
Okay.
get another armament or armor, or two auxiliaries or auxiliary and armor, etc., etc.
Cool.
I love how the angel mech just has it turns into a goddamn plane. I
Yeah.
almost want to take that because you would never expect this hulky gargoyle to turn into a sleek plane.
Oh, yeah, you can. That would be ridiculous.
I'm really tempted.
I mean, I know you got that dropship, but that's going to get you places. In the field, you'd want to be mobile. I don't know. That's up to you.
It may be good to suggest to have like a dummies page for all these weapons because I'm not a war person, I'm not a gun person. None of this means shit to me.
Yeah. No, that's
So,
fair.
yeah, so
The,
I mean, most people who probably would play this are the ones that like played Mech Warriors or love these kinds of stuff.
yeah.
Because this seems like more crunchy than most of like the emotional mech jams were.
Yeah. No, for
Which is
sure. This is.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's no reason for me to choose any of the ornaments because it doesn't mean anything to me.
I'll tell you the things you should notice are the ones in the brackets, the D's, the D's, the dice there.
The
What those.
parentheses.
Yeah, the parentheses. Yeah, those are kind of like those are the tags you'd want. So let's say for the gargoyle, your twin 18mm, it's 2D near far repeater, means you can shoot a lot of it. 2D means that's the number of dice you roll for to see if you get hits. Those are what the dice means for each weapons, and obviously, like the more dice, the more chances you are of getting hits on enemies because there's a table. Well, we'll get there when you start shooting at people, but basically the number of dice means the number of like d6s you roll to see if you get a hit. Because part of what this game does is trying to simulate the idea of being at war when there's like so much shooting and nonsense happening that sometimes you might get direct fire or indirect fire. Just that sort of idea. And whenever you make an attack, obviously it's not going to be like I just hit it. You're going to roll dice to see if you how many hits you can get on it. So if you're trying to figure out what weapon to pick, look at the parentheses stuff, the stuff in the parentheses.
So I just want to clarify because for the gargoyles, so the rover, I get it, operated rover. That means I can use that rover to go and heal other mechs.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So that means when you roll with some certain things, with certain moves, you're gonna use its stats when you're trying to use it, like its speed and its evasion, rather than like your gargoyles one.
Okay.
Oh wow, you have the option to like just not have any weapons. That's interesting. I see you went for the plane option. It doesn't even explain like what you get. It just says it turns to a plane with all that it comes with. Okay, fine, all right, turns to a plane. I'll deal with that when we get
I
there.
assume I get a little bit extra more speed because
Yeah,
at the very least.
yeah, at the very least.
I'm sorry if this has been asked already. Under Hellhound, it says speed 0, evasion +1, choose one option. Is that from armament or armor or auxiliary?
From any of those three.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to confirm. Thank you.
All right, so like once you're done with like the mechs and whatnot, when we go back to page 2 in the PDF, yeah, you're gonna roll to see what your history is with another merc company.
Oh, whoops! I was putting my backstory in there.
No, it's fine. Honestly, I probably make a second row because I like the backstory the two of you have put in there. I'll probably make another row. Give me a sec. Boink. detail here. What our merc company is. Okay, so yeah, you can pick from the 2 tables on what company or history you want to work, or you can just roll. Rolling is also fine.
And we don't get to choose who we do the history with, right? Or
As in, like, which company?
no? Oh, sorry. I thought the history was for like the links with other people.
No,
Or no?
unless you want to work in the same, unless you end up having work in the same company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which, if you want, then you can do that as well.
I'm sorry, which page is it?
It's the second page in the PDF.
Oh, geez, of course.
prepare-
I'm looking at the end, so that's why I would never have found it. So I'm glad I asked. Hey, I got red company. Did I see that somebody else rolled a 9, got red company?
I think that was the 9 for that Alex rolled for your, like, supplies and starting assets.
Yeah, that was.
Oh well, no worries.
I'm just rolling physical dice now to avoid like confusion.
How does roll for your party create confusion? I'm confused about that.
Yeah, part of what this history does is like it adds to the fog of war as this game defines, which is conflicting priorities of allies, conflicting loyalties, scarcity of supplies, or munitions, or just straight up bad luck. Because y'all had history. I think is kind of what this game assumes before you all came together to this mercenary group. You've worked around before. You're not fresh faced recruits. You've been through some stuff. Just that this history kind of determines, like, yeah, what stuff have you done?
One of my green dice disappeared, but I rolled a 10 basically.
Ooh. No, you roll 2d6 twice, so one for the company and another for your history with them.
I
Yeah.
rolled 2d6 and I got a 10, and then when I tried to move it, one of the dice disappeared.
Huh.
So I
That
don't
is
know where.
weird.
Yeah, so it was a 4 and a 6. So I got 10.
That is weird. Where did it go?
They'll only talk to you through lawyers. Wow.
Oh, what did you do?
I don't know. And let's see what company, because I did it backwards. Well, let's roll one more d6.
So I got red company, wouldn't let you join back when you sucked. They still think you suck.
God. That's cruel.
The Merc company, the only way, to be sure, is always up in my shit.
Why is that? I guess we'll find out why.
Yeah.
I do like, yeah, we've got two people who work for Red Company. One of whom is like, let's see, like for working on the other side. Yeah.
I got the Balian company, who yeah,
Ooh.
they'll only talk to me through lawyers. which tracks because I'm like a hacker, rigger type person.
Ooh, and because Rich is the veteran, you work with two companies. That's interesting.
But I was thinking, let me double check. Yeah. Alex, since we both chose the lineage Concordat, that maybe we knew each other.
Yeah, entirely
not.
possible.
Because I doubt there's that. Maybe there's a lot of exiles.
Oh
But-
yeah, no. Yeah, I also definitely think it's more interesting if we knew each other.
Yeah.
What was Chewy's like background in the Concordat?
I think not necessarily like I chose like because I wasn't too sure about the background, if that was like before, if that was before exile or after exile. I assumed it was after exile, so I chose Tankrat. So I think Chuey came from like probably not super prestigious family when they were in the Concordat, but because they were so addicted to technology and like learning all that when they got exiled, they weren't given any resources, so they had to work from the ground up, and so they were Tankrat. Once they got through like to actually work for different companies, and so I don't know. I was thinking maybe like they were doing like odd jobs for you.
Yeah, that could work.
With, like with mechs, like I don't know if you're very trustworthy of people, but like, oh, a fellow exile, maybe a little bit more trustworthy.
Or possibly we even knew each other in the Concordat.
Yeah.
I'm my character was born into a noble family and ended up fleeing after failing a violent overthrow of the government. And now she mostly just wants to make money to regain some like semblance of status in wherever she's living now, and enjoy the finer things in life once again.
Yeah. Like Chewy's definitely anti-fascist, but I think like during the Concordat, he was just like, I just want to build. Like, sure, what, like, just listen to you. Like, sure, okay, yeah. Like, what do you need mechanics wise, like, or technology wise, kind of thing.
Yeah, Dante is very, oh yeah, I'm anti-fascist, but also I really miss being way richer than other people.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could have worked for me in the Concordat, or even, I don't know, whether you would want to have met post exile or pre-exile.
Yeah, pre-exile is fine, and maybe like we've run into each other like before this current company a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think we'd be like on good terms.
Yeah, works for me.
You being a hotshot.
Yeah. I'm a challenge for mechanics like you. Always keep you on your toes.
Oh yeah, always swearing at you.
Yeah, definitely something like well, I'm writing up some stuff for Michael as well. Something I do want to add is like stuff to like connect PCs to other PCs, because those are always cool. well, it depends on how they're connected, but most of like kind of like what like when we played in GauntletCon is kind of like refining the battle, so to speak, which is kind of what we're kind of gonna focus on. All right. We've been here for like an hour and a bit, just about an hour. Let's take a break if folks are good, unless they're doing something. Let's take 10. Let's get a good, nice 10-minute break, and then we'll introduce the characters to each other, and then I'll start you off with meeting with where we'll paint the scene. We'll see where each folks are, and we'll see how we'll get you started in your first mission. Oh, sorry,
Just
do you have
before
something?
we go, do you mind if I make up a mercenary company for my background?
Sure. Oh,
No,
you don't want
for
to.
my character's backstory, not the background.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Like you were not beholden
Cool.
to any tables or whatever. I'm sure no one's gonna pitch a fit. But yeah, let's say 10 minutes. Be back in a bit. I kind of want to keep running more mech games, but I've run out of at least the big created character stuff. I mean, there's that emotional Mecha Jam. Well, I'll never run out of that. But
Clearly, you just got to do Mecha Monthly Season 2 and run all of them again.
yeah, maybe they've changed quite a bit. And
Well, new players, new things happening, new characters.
I mean, we could always have a season 2 of the one we did.
Yeah.
Could.
Did you ever watch the video after, Alex, of what we did to your character?
Oh no. What happened?
Your character was put in stasis, and we just kept putting stickers.
That's Darren's character.
Oh, was it Darren's character?
Yes.
No, what happened to Alex's character?
He was there. He was only there for the last session.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
I was like, wait, did you guys have a secret 5th session?
But we should have another season. We could always have another season of that.
We could. Rich, since you don't know, this is a Hilton Blade game I ran for Darren, and these, you know what happens in a Hilton Blade game? There are these teenagers kind of just put in a horrible scenario and are forced to like be terrible to each other. As a result,
box after box.
all those boxes. Unlike the players, the other characters in our game, the fucking the space station they lived in, they fucking loved them. They put a parade on for the Hilts, like our brave and noble warriors. They're here to save us from the horrible
and we
outsiders.
Had a ball where we all had to dress up.
Yeah, it sucked.
It really sucked.
It was extremely good.
It was so good. It was so
yeah. I joined Leandra's Hilton Beam Saber game for the last session only again. So I decided to play a distant descendant of Veranda Palisade named Proxy.
That's awesome.
Nice. All right, so let's kind of introduce each other's characters here, so we all get to know each other. And then I'm just gonna put you at like where your cool mech base is, and I'll let you all like filter out the details on your cool mech base. But before that, yeah, let's introduce characters to each other. Let's go with the character keeper. Let's start from the left. Yeah, our hotshot who yeah, have fun dealing with her. Alex, tell us all about our hotshot.
All right, so her name is Andante Bossanova, but she goes by Dante, but with an apostrophe before the Dante, so you know that it's like being abbreviated. Thank you. The apostrophe is very important. In the video description or like video summary you put up on the Slack, you have to include this apostrophe in front of Dante. And anyway, she was born into a noble family in the Concordat and was exiled, or I guess like fled after failing to violently overthrow the government. And now she misses having lots of money and clout. Her mech is this little raider, and it's like I put overpolished, and that's like literal in that I think she has like tried to keep it like so meticulously clean that it's actually like worn away, like paint and stuff. And she is the kind of person who it goes by Dante, names her mech Inferno, and thinks that is an extremely clever reference, and is extremely proud of herself for like how clever that is.
I just realized that. Oh my god. Dante's Inferno. Oh my god. If this was like a full campaign, if you bought another Mac, would you name that Purgatorio and the last one Paradiso?
Or comedy.
Or comedy, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, okay. I think she'd just name it like Inferno 2. Inferno Boogaloo.
Okay.
No, I don't know. But
2 Inferno, 2 Infurious.
Christ. Okay, yeah. Tell me about this history you got with this mercenary company with this really cool name.
Yeah. So yeah, I was psyched when I rolled the 2 on that. It's the mercenary company's The Only Way, and then in brackets, to be sure. And they're always up in my shit. I don't know, like, I don't know when we decide, like, when we figure out, like, the answers to, like, why that is.
Yeah, well,
I'm wondering, yeah.
If
I'm
you,
wondering
if,
with, yeah.
no,
sorry.
go on. No, sorry, no, go on.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm wondering, like, if with a weird name like that, they might not be like maybe they're weird fascists and from the Concord and don't like me based on my history.
Could be, yeah. I was gonna say, like, we can figure it out now, or we can play to find out. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you got ideas now, that's fine. If not, oh, they might show up. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm not like totally beholden to that idea or anything.
Cool.
Just a suggestion.
No worries. Yeah, we'll play to find out then.
Yeah.
For now. All right. So that's that's Dante. Jesus Christ. Up next, Rich, tell us about our veteran, one who's seen it all.
The character I'm playing is the veteran playbook who goes by the name of Tag Ishikawa. Tag is of the lineage of the Holdborn. He was a vat birth, however, and so he was genetically engineered, and he attended a prestigious academy, although that was quite a while ago, and the academy has had a number of political upheavals and been dragged through the media, so it's not quite as amazing as before. He's still, though, even though he has served 4 terms, it looks that fresh because he's just good at his job and has great genes. They picked the best. That said, Tag goes out of his way to make sure that his hellhound, which he calls Cerberus, is just like, he will not put in a fresh coat of paint. If something's slightly damaged, he'll just find something in a scrapyard and replace it, as long as it'll still work just as well. So, and he often will wear like a scarf and kind of cover himself up when he's traveling amongst other mercenaries, because if
Rich, you're freezing up for us.
crap.
You froze, as you said, like traveling between 2 mercenaries. I think you froze there, and we missed everything after that.
Okay, cool. I will traveling between 2
Different mercenary groups, or I think headscarf. Let's start with headscarf.
Okay, yeah, he wears a headscarf when traveling around other mercenaries, because if he believes that if you're too pretty, you don't get the best jobs, because they think that you are, avoid getting in the shit. Dante. So he previously worked for Red Company. They think that Tag has a knack for working for the other side, which is true, and he was caught. But really, he was betting that they would ultimately win, so in Tag's mind, that's okay. Just because he had a few side bets that certain mechs would beat certain mechs on his company, that ultimately, if they were dead, he couldn't have collected, so why would he be taking a fall? Doesn't make any sense at all. Red Company is stupid. The Shell Shockers, they have a friendly rivalry with him. He always calls them a bunch of stupid freebirths, which Tag thinks is a sweet gesture. They have a friendly rivalry. They tend to underbid him. That's because we have to pay for Dante's shit. Otherwise, we could get jobs. So they cost us 1 cash per mission when we're in the same theater. And I have moves called Pessimist, Lifer, Gut Feeling, and not that I'm going to mention it to you, Free Births, but Final Protective Fire.
God. Love to have a mercenary group full of very social people, very lovely people. Hopefully we can continue that streak with our next character. Yeah, Diana, tell us about our rigger.
Chewy's kind of sociable. He's more sociable when he has to do, like, work on your mechs, but he is sociable. Chewy's also from the Concordat. Didn't have such a prestigious growing up in the Concordat, but wasn't like, terrible. Kind of like, middle class kind of thing. Problem is that Chewy loved, like, soon as they grasped, like, that fact that there's, like, technology out there, like high-end technology, Chewy just glommed onto that and happened to be just like a natural genius at working with not just mechs but software and stuff. And so throughout living in the Concordat, that he was secretly, like, playing with stuff, like tinkering with stuff, and because he was pretty good at it. And other, like, when you're a teenager, you want to rebel against the man and the parents, and that means playing with technology, but you don't want to die. So they would go to Chewy to, like, hey, like, let's do some cool shit, but let's not die because of it. So it's like, sure, I don't care, I just want to play with the cool shit. This eventually led to Chewy meeting up with Dante, who was all about, like, overthrowing the government, and Chewy's like, sure, that means more technology for me. Like, didn't care. But the main problem was, like, during the Concordat, Chewy was much more sociable person, and unfortunately kind of had a dalliance with one of the politician's sons, and it being a fascist regime, that's not really a great thing to happen. But the official reason that he was exiled, because of course they wouldn't have that kind of scandal, was like, oh, you like technology, you can rig up all this bullshit things that is against our, our government's, like, creed and shit, so you're a traitor to us. And that's how he got kicked out. And he got kicked out and didn't have anything to land on, so kind of became a tank rat, had to work his way up through, like, doing all the horrible jobs that most engineers wouldn't, like, have to do, like, all in the forefront. Didn't care, loved it. Um but it did make him a little bit less sociable because he has seen a little bit of, like, the front lines of the war, not necessarily veteran style, but, like, the things that, like, people don't see, like, when you're salvaging, there's sometimes still bodies in those salvage and having to deal with all that. So, Chewy does everything that he can to make sure that in his company they're retrofitted with the best stuff, or second best, or third best, or whatever he can get. And his mech is the gargoyle. And what's really interesting, oh, and this is the rigger playbook because I forgot to mention that. What I decided to choose was his gargoyle has no armaments, has no way to technically defend himself, because his goal is to keep everybody else safe, because if they're safe, they can fight. So and he's piecemealed something very special with his gargoyle, which everyone playing knows, but technically is not known of what this special gargoyle can do. Um, but otherwise, he has a repair link, he has an emergency override, he can hack into your shit whether you like it or not, so you better not piss him off, so that way your OS doesn't suddenly turn into a foreign language for, when you're trying to, like, impress the boss or whatever. And yeah, he worked for Balian company beforehand. They'll only talk to him through lawyers because he might have gotten a little bit of that, like, overpowering itch from Dante, and was, like, kind of annoyed with the way Balian was doing shit, and might have tried to, like, maybe form a union and hacked all the software. And yeah, so yeah, that's all he's allowed to say officially.
I like that his motivation for trying to overturn the government was he'd get more technology, not because the government sucked,
I mean, he agreed with it, but that wasn't in the forefront of his mind.
Okay, fair enough. I guess folks can hold multiple reasons to be overturning a fascist government. All right, so our last character, Rob, tell us about Nadia.
So I am playing Nadia Ogata. She is a mercenary. She grew up in a mercenary company called Hard Rain Security Solutions, and her father was the CEO of that company. Basically, he was the one that ran the company, but he was a very honorable man. He had, he tried to only take on fights that he believed in, and not basically not fight for people like, say, the fascist regimes and stuff like that. There were people in his company who disagreed with that and felt that they should be just taking whatever jobs paid the best. And there was a bit of a hostile takeover during which her father was mortally wounded. He got her to a escape pod, and she got out of there. And basically, she's been training herself up, trying to get into the mercenary game, so that she can one day take on the people that betrayed her father and the people that stood by him. She has a mauler, which is a very sort of blocky, heavy-looking mech. It's got a cannon for long range, long to medium range sort of fighting. But she has like a machine gun. I think it's a coaxial machine gun. I'm assuming MG means machine gun. For closer quarters, and she's a bit of a bruiser. She likes getting into up close fighting. So because that's one of my moves is Thug. Mecha physical combat doesn't count as pushing your hardware. And she's also got, what is it, albedo cloud. So there's a cloud that puts out sort of particles that disrupt the laser fire. Yep, that's me.
Another good anime revenge story in your backstory. Okay, so let's see these characters in their element. Let's read. I'm gonna read a bit about like exactly what this planet is, and then I'll ask you details of like where you are in your cool mercenary forward operating base. Come on, you're a mercenary company. You must have a cool operating base. But yeah, let me read a bit about exactly where you are and what's happening. So you are on the blast side of Caplan IV, the million square clicks of sun-drenched desert, and the location of one of the most drawn-out wars in the Dendrite sector. So there's two sides that have been fighting over this place. There's the Republic of Darna and the Theoden Conjugate. But it don't matter to y'all, because what matters is that someone's paying you to fight other people. Because you are a for-profit business. And they've been fighting for 40 years to control resource-rich territories of mostly bedrock radioactives and a network of hundreds of pre-blast facilities that are still there. But yeah, what matters to most to Ares Limited, the name of your company, is that you do work, get paid, live a decent life. So So let's say this forward operating base of yours is kind of like it's at a desert. It's a deserty sort of area. It's probably got places for your mechs. It's probably got like shitty prefab like barracks for y'all to live in. Like when we kind of like open this shot of, I guess I say the opening montage of this mech anime that we're watching. What's kind of like the shot that we see of each character? Like what are you doing and to like just encapsulate like what the characters are like? Give me a minute to think about that. And yeah, you're free to jump in.
Chewy, if it's downtime, Chewy's always working either on his mech or he's working on someone else's mech. He may be working on someone else's mech with or without the permission, but he feels like he has carte blanche because he's only improving, you know.
Yeah, who could say no to like free tune-up, even if the tune-up might have some stuff they didn't expect?
Dante certainly won't. I think she's chilling nearby, the feet up on like a table, and she's just like casually reading. But I think she only has like one book with her, and it's one she's reread like 50 times.
What's it about?
It's very wish fulfillment. It's about I think it's about like an exiled princess who comes back and like overthrows her terrible family, and it's like it's complete schlock. But she's into it.
Cool. I think what we see for an establishing shot for Tag is that while Chewy is working on Cerberus, Tag is up on a catwalk, kind of leaning over the railing. He's got the scarf, kind of almost balaclava look, and a pair of shades on. And he has a little butterfly knife that he's just flipping around, and he's amazing with it, but doesn't seem, it's totally casual. But it looks like he's not really paying attention to anything, but then kind of switch viewpoint to more of a first person viewpoint, and he's watching Chewy work, just watching everything that Chewy's doing. It's just his body, his posture is very relaxed and disinterested, but from that first person view, we can tell that he's definitely interested.
Nice. Roll plus hot? No, that comes later. Nadia?
I think Nadia is playing some poker or whatever the in-universe equivalent is of that sort of card game with some of the other troops in the company.
So space poker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, space poker. Yeah, I think you're all kind of like in the same vicinity. Yeah, in this hangar area where all the mechs are. We can't say Sabak, we'll get sued. And I think as the four of you are kind of like, yeah, just go to your day. A bunch of soldiers. You hear like, oh, you start showing off, Rich. Yeah, you hear like the heavy footsteps of your kind of like your superior officer. I say superior officer, aka your superior officer / CEO of this company. And I'm gonna let you all. This is gonna be weird. It's kind of like painting the scene, but painting a character. Give me a detail each about this character, and I will try to put them all together into one person. And it's kind of like I think the first time I played a game with Diana, it's like, oh, what kind of Game of War the Queen should we play? It's a boat trip journey with a fairy queen of assassins. Cool.
That
We'll run
was
with that.
yes, I love that. I still point that game to like anybody for the Queen. It was like it was beautiful.
Yeah. Don't know how we got through that game. I had like what 9 players. But yeah, let's do
Yeah.
this with this character. what's a detail that each of your character would like kind of like focus on about your commanding officer? I think for base, I'll say this is a woman. She's she her pronouns for sure.
I think Dante notices like that the way the commander walks, she doesn't feel like it commands authority in the way at least Dante thinks commander should, like the walk of a commander should. It's like a poor person walk.
I was gonna ask, but you just straight up said it. Okay.
I think this CO, one of the things that Tag finds fascinating about her is she won't tell the story of the scar that runs across her cheek. He's asked it a few times indirectly. She won't talk about it.
She's very sort of sooty hands. She likes to get involved in like helping in the maintenance and just doing general work in the ground level with the troops. So she's very hands-on.
I think she knows more about the machinery than she lets on. Like, yeah, she is hands-on because she wants to have that approach of being approachable to everybody. But like, Chewie always gets nervous around her because she has this way of speaking whenever like she asks him for like, oh, what's the update on this mech? That she pretends that she doesn't understand, but she probably knows more than he does, and he's not used to anybody knowing more than he does, kind of thing.
Nice. All right. Okay. So I got a good idea of this character then. Just like because I have to make an obligatory reference to the past Mecha games I've run. Let's see, what's her name? What names have I used up? Yeah. So she walks in. You know her, your commanding officer. Yeah, the CEO of Ares Limited, Miss Ada Kingdom, and she looks as always kind of like walks like I'm looking at this list I made here. Walks like a poor person, mysterious scar, sooty hands, and pretends not to understand. She walks into the hangar. How do you walk like a poor person?
Ask Dante. I don't know. I need to like be careful though, because I'm starting to hate her too much. To hate my own character too much.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fine line. Yeah, she walks in and she's carrying like I'm imagining this technology here. It's kind of gone back a bit. It's a bit more rustic. Like Beam Saber had a lot of like iPads. I think she carries the one iPad that this this group has, and she kind of has those like Ares Limited, gather, come here. She talks. She doesn't talk much. Like she talks like a soldier who's forgotten how to be a soldier. Like so that's why she's a bit more casual. Form up. So she has the 4 of you come close.
All right, let me just solder this real quick. I'll be there in a second.
I'm sure that's very important, Chewie. Take your time. And she kind of like starts flicking through. Oh well, she wipes her hands first and then starts flicking through this iPad.
Well, I guess I'll just take my winnings then. Shh. Better luck next time, folks.
Yeah, I think you leave a bunch of soldiers like just need grumble. But they're like, we'll get you next time, Nadia.
Dante silently rolls over in her chair, like it's a office style chair with wheels, and she just rolls it over.
Tag jogs down and stands in formation because that's what you do for your CO.
Finally, one professional.
The only professional. But yeah, eventually, like as quickly as possible, like Chewy definitely doesn't dilly dally. Finishes what he does and then quickly runs over.
Yeah,
And may lean against that chair that Dante's sitting in.
I think Officer Kingdom looks up from what she's looking, just gives you all a raise an eyebrow, and then gives a nod that's only perceptible to Tag. It's like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're good. And she just kind of casually says, finally got some new listings for our next couple of missions. The Republic of Darna is doing an offensive deep into the Theoden conjugate territory, and looks like we've got a pick of 2. And I'd like to get the opinion of our finest pilots on which mission to go with first, or which mission to go with. And as far as I can tell, either mission is doable for the lot of you. Ares Limited isn't known for fielding mediocrity. And she starts flicking back to the page, and yeah, she sounds quite tired as always because in the middle of a war. But she's better at usually hiding it. But right now it looks like she's not. But yeah, she lays out the missions for the 2 missions, so you get to pick. One mission is called Eyes on City 31. Basically, she says, Phelan Special Forces have dropped a ECM node into City 31. It's letting them orbit drop their exo soldiers into the abandoned refinery city. The Republic is holding back their heavy reinforcements, but the concentration of forces is stopping them from advancing. So it's simple. Get in, hit that ECM node, and get out. You'll mostly be dealing with exoskeleton soldiers, powered armor folk. Her eyes flick to the big mechs that's kind of in the background in the hangar, saying, perfectly doable for Navi. But if you're not interested in fighting small soldiers, so to speak, there is the Rocktop Rail Launch Facility. Theoden's 2nd Division is pulling out. That rail facility has been firing to evac as much of their refined thorium energy reserves out of the planet. Republic of Darna have forward eyes in the plaza, so we know that the facility is only guarded by a York light tank platoon. Again, tanks should be perfectly doable for a lot of you. Inject fast, disrupt the launches until the main armor division can reinforce you. Simple, easy missions. All of you are quite capable for those, I believe.
Which one's more profitable?
That's the problem. Ever since our last mission, the Republic of Darna has kind of flattened out all payments for all missions at the moment. We'll still get our usual extra cut, but for now, payment starts at 2 cash per pilot, and because of extra cut, you get 3 cash per pilot. That seems fairly reasonable.
In other words, what's more profitable is whichever one we come out less fucked up, right?
I'm sure you'd quite mind being fucked up, Dante.
Well, it costs money to repair and recover, so which of these missions is easier is the question.
I mean, probably dealing with the exos would be easiest, but then I'm not going to be able to salvage much scrap from those things. They're practically useless. The tanks we might be able to get some good shit out of. Maybe even make a side profit. But you guys are the ones fighting him, not me, so I'll defer to you.
What do you think, Ishikawa?
Are either of these? Are the shell shockers in the theater?
I would say, actually, I'll roll for that because it depends. Because the thing is, there's only one theater at the moment. Because this game is still in development, so they've only developed one theater. So by default, yes, they're going to be around.
Oh, okay. All right, that sucks. That means I get 2, not 3 cash. With Chuey, we're here to make money. Let's make the most cash we can.
You're looking for easy. Get in and smash the ECM sounds pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, Miss Officer Kingdom, kind of like. Well, you're the folks out there in the field. You'll know what's best, what's easy. You think getting in, get out is the way to go? Sure, we'll go for that exo job in the refinery. Unless, and she looks at you, Chewy.
I mean, if
Go.
we're lucky, we'll get in and out and we can do both. But we could start with the exos.
I think she looks at the map and looks at the thing again. It's like, if you're lucky.
Well, they've got me, so of course we're going to be lucky.
Yeah.
And Chewy does like a very, like, he doesn't do it very often, especially to the boss, but he does like a very flirtatious like smile. And looks around like as if everyone should be in on the joke.
Yeah, there's no moves for schmoozing with your boss, so she just no-sells it. Just like, all right, Chewy. And she flicks through the iPad. It's like, so, City 31, knocking out that ECM. All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone raised their hand, and only Dante says aye. It looks awkward for him. Yeah, and Officer Kingdom presses a few buttons, says, all right, we'll have a briefing packet for y'all. Ship out first flight in the morning. Get, do what you need to do. Get some rest, limber up, get whatever activities you need to get out of your system. I think you kind of tell she doesn't have the highest opinion of all of you. And yeah, go on, Chewy. You gonna say something?
Oh yeah, so as she's like leaving, like Chewy turns to Tag. It's like, I'm almost done with your mech.
Take your time. You do good work.
Always. And I just head back over there to like finish off.
Yeah. Before we get into this mission again, I just want to keep coloring this this little world of ours. What's the last image? What do each character do to like? What do they do before a mission, like to prepare?
I'm gonna go over whatever maps or any files that we have in the area. Just basically doing some homework before we head down.
Ooh. Actually, I said there's not a move. This is actually a move. This is a move. It's called it's part of Operation Move. It's called briefing. When you lead the analysis of briefing intel, roll plus tactics. So if Nadia's doing that, then yeah, roll your tactics. Which is how's your tactics?
I think yes, I went with minus. I went with -1 for that.
Sorry, you said you were the one going through the briefing. Unless you're just going through it and you're deferring to someone else. Let's ask that question before you make that roll. Are you actively leading the analysis of the briefing, or are you going to defer to someone else?
I will probably defer to someone else because I recognize my strengths and weaknesses.
All right.
I'm happy to lead the analysis then.
You say that in character. I'm happy to lead the analysis then.
I kind of like to see it like that. Nadia is like looking it over, and Dante just comes over. It's like and just kind of like gradually takes over. It's like, oh,
I don't think she actually says I'm happy to lead the analysis. I think she just assumes she's leading the analysis.
Fair enough. All right. Roll plus tactics.
All right, I have a +1 tactics.
All right, moves are either in page 14 of, 13 of the PDF, or there's an extra tab for moves that I made up in the character keeper.
That's a 6, folks.
Oh,
Do we mark XP for
No.
failed rolls in this?
do you actually? I'll double check, but I don't think so. I don't remember doing that. Oh, yes. Mark experience when you miss. Yeah. All right. So mark experience. Yeah. So what you get from the analysis of the intel is, well, mostly that. Oh no. Here's what happens. You do get a good detail of the enemy, and when they say this place is crawling with exos, it is crawling with exos. Not only do they have like a entire mobile exo platoon, which means 2 armored personnel carriers and like 4 exoskeleton dudes. They've also brought in an advanced exo platoon, which means they have like an iguana, which is a big ass tank. In fact, iguana is one of the mechs you could have taken in character creation. That's how powerful it is. So yeah, nice, good first roll.
Hey, Chief, is it too late to choose the other one?
Yes, it looks like the shell shockers have gone for the other mission. They managed to underbid us somehow. Not sure how that happened. So no, we're locked into this. Oh man, the iguana stats are wild because they're the possible PC mech. So good luck with
so yeah.
that.
So unless any other opportunities arise before this whole thing, like Chewy's been working on the mechs all day, during this downtime, so he doesn't have to do any last minute checks other than finishing what he was working on. He's probably his main, like when that's over with, his prep for like before the next mission is pretty much being in his room and listening to like music and stuff. But he has a policy of like having his door open so that if anyone wanted to like engage with him, that would happen. But yeah, so yeah, because he's pretty confident with his work.
Cool. So what does Tag do before a mission?
I think before a mission, Tag would do his own research on the terrain, the weather patterns of the field of battle. It's not the kind of stuff that you would necessarily share with the team because it's advanced level tactics, it's the kind of stuff that's just a little much for these guys, but it can help him out. So yeah, and I think he keeps his door cracked so he can hear Chewy's music because they're like, they bunk like right by each other.
Yeah, I think I'll give you a bit of weather just so you know. Just so I think you're looking up the weather and the shot goes into what you're looking into, and it's gonna open into. Oh, sorry. Is there? Okay, cool. Sorry, I just saw you on mute, and it's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry for. Okay, actually, I should ask Nadia what you're doing if once Dante is taken over, looking through the briefing analysis.
I think I will just. I think I'll just head to my bunk and go.
All right.
I'll just do some sort of Tai Chi or some sort of relaxing martial art sort of thing.
Cool.
I'm sure
Okay.
Nadia's learned how to do that while Chewy's music is super loud, because Chewy does have it unnecessarily loud.
All right. Okay. So I think, yeah, let's go back to that shot of Tag looking at the weather details and whatnot. The camera kind of zooms into it, and then it brings up the frame until you're at this. What we see, I think, is quite a bit of wind. It's a windy sort of city, City 31, the name of this place. Which, yeah. Um, it's a rocky sort of place. It's next to a river, actually. I have a map here. I'm just going to put a link to that. I have a map. Just give me a sec. Okay. Just quick map. Yeah, that's just for like just to see it. Like we're not gonna using that. We're not gonna use that much. That's just for like for. Yes, it is from the medieval fantasy generator. It's very useful. It's a very useful tool. But that's kind of like that's the general area. There's like it's this City 31 is this river, and in the middle, that little like square, that little circle in the middle there, that's where the node is. And I think the drop ship is kind of drop you off. Let's see. I think it's gonna drop you off kind of up to the north, up to that road, just at the northern edge of that map. That's where the dropship will kind of leap you off, because like after you found those reports that there's an iguana in the area, they're gonna keep it swum. So before we start, I'm gonna roll a d4 to generate snafu. So here's where I explain what snafu is. If y'all been wondering like what all that snafu stuff and the playbooks mean. Okay, 2 snafu. So there's 2 snafu. So what snafu points are, you can add them to a roll, and you're gonna roll with disadvantage, which roll 3d6 and take the lowest. Now, why would you want to do that? That's because for any snafu point that isn't burned, that's a free move for me. So I can use up a snafu point to make a move as hard as I want. That's why you'd want to burn them. Snafu is basically the stand-in for bad luck. I didn't expect this. Oh no, Fog of War has really messed us up. So you've got 2 snafu, and they kind of go away after each mission, for sure. All right. So the 4 of you have been dropped off, and your gleaming mechs. Unfortunately, this isn't Gundam, so you don't have like a cool. Yeah, snafu can be made to use or make your situation foobar. Just more military terms. Yeah. So unlike Gundam, you don't get like a cool sign-off line when you launch off your mech. You're just dropped off. Like, there you go. There you are at the north. And yeah, you can kind of see the walls of City 31, kind of like through like the fog and dust. You're in a more rocky area. Up here in the north, there are like farms you can see, but the farms are empty. But every now and then you see kind of like a. Let me double check. Yes. You can kind of see there is like a pulse of light coming from the middle of the city. And you get that from the intel. Every 20 minutes. Oh, not every 20 minutes. I'd say every half a day, every 12 hours, because otherwise you'd be crawling in reinforcements, and I don't want to flood you with reinforcements. You drop like a drop pod comes down in the middle of the city. All right. What do you do? It's just the 4 of you up here at top. And yeah, there's a lot of moves, but just tell me what each of you want to do. And then we'll see what happens.
I want to locate that iguana.
All right.
Not to engage just yet. I want to know where it is so it doesn't surprise us.
Okay. So yeah, that sounds like an assess. When you assess the situation, ask a question and roll tactics. So how are you doing this? How is
All right. Yeah, I
Dante?
guess my question. So is it all just like flat desert here, or is there like a hill or something I can get up on, but like take cover behind, but still like have a higher vantage point.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. You there's like a hill to like you see what looks like flat area to the east of that road. There's probably like a hill there. You can see. You can try
Okay.
to assess.
And like her mech probably has some sort of like sensor radar sort of thing. That like she's trying to get like, you know, line of sight with as much of the city as possible to use her sensors and locate like the biggest signature.
Cool. All right. So yeah, roll plus tactics. See if you can find
Alright.
that mech.
9.
Oh, yeah, nice. All right. So yeah, remember you're all still in radio contacts. You'll all be talking to each other. One of the things Michael is concerned about is not being able to interact with each other because you're inside these big old mechs. Just a reminder, folks, you can talk to each other. So 9. On a hit, you can choose one. You get details, or you do it without taking long or additional exposure to danger. So what I'll say is you'll get an answer to the question, and you can choose to either have details or you won't get caught out.
The details decided by you, or would I get to like ask a follow-up question?
I think I've decided those details. I think, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll answer the question right now. Yeah, the iguana is fairly noticeable. It's for let's describe this thing. It is a big old tank. It's a high-tech tank made before the factory wars happened. It's very noticeable because for one thing, it has you'll notice it kind of rolling along the edge of the wall. That's kind of like to the south of you. So you can see it right there. It's kicking up a lot of dirt. It's massive. But you can see that the gun has been modified. It's got this gigantic looking rail gun that can shoot from well far, for sure. And it's kind of like right in front of y'all, but it hasn't seen you yet. Because I don't know if you're going to choose either detail. But yeah, it's kicking up a lot of dirt in front of the... It's making a patrol down the length of that wall. So right now it's kind of like crossing that road, the big gate there, but it's making its way to like those lines to the west, those farms. Yeah, it's right there. I think, yeah, you can see it. You can report that back to everyone. You can see the iguana.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm going to not expose myself to prolonged exposure to danger. I don't think I necessarily need more details at the moment, so I'm just going to say, you know, iguanas along the northern city wall has a nasty looking railgun. We're going to need to get in close and quick.
Okay, I have a quick question. Because I just realized this about my moves. So the little prologue we did, was that considered an official downtime?
Ooh, no. I would, if you had brought it up, I would have considered it, but we're out of downtime now.
No, okay, because I realized that I technically worked on Cerebro, and I have the hacksaw move.
Yeah. You know
So
what?
depending on a roll,
We're only here for like 3 sessions, so I'll be nice.
Yeah.
So basically, what that move does is because you were working on Cerberus.
Yeah.
Cerberus, not Cerebrus is a comic
I keep
book.
thinking Cerebro from X-Men, so that's
Yeah.
why.
So yeah, you were working on it, so you can spend that one supply the company has to
No,
grab another substance.
I have modular. Oh, I know that's that's for myself. Never mind. That's only if it hits. So.
Yeah. Oh no,
And
you
then
spend one supply while you roll. So
Oh, okay.
if it
But
only
this
hits, go on.
Yeah, but this means that that tag can add an extra subsystem from his move.
Yeah,
From his. Okay, so yeah.
Roll plus hardware and spend that supply.
Ah, fuck. No. So spend the supply. So nothing happens. I just work on.
Okay. All right. Okay. So need more time. What would have been? What would have been that subsystem tag if it hit? Mark XP.
Oh yeah, at least I get that.
Aw,
Well, since we need to be uptight, of course, it probably would have been a flamethrower, right?
Of course.
it would have been, but
It's there. It's just a little pilot light won't spark up. It's my fault, obviously.
Yeah, I would never. I would fault half the time. I would fault the pilots, but like I think with tag, I was like, oh, like because you're a veteran and everything. I was like, oh no, I just didn't have enough time to finish it. That's all. I thought I finished it and I didn't. I missed a step. But don't worry, it's not going to do anything to your mech bad. It's just pretend it's not there for now.
that's cute. All right, so yeah, you see the tank. Yeah, very visible. You don't see anything else. You can see that small beam of light. Well, not small, but like kind of like an elevator sort of light in the middle of the city. And Dante and the Inferno managed to before they can be seen, get down that hill. What about the rest of you? What do you do? Just like tell me what you want to do or what you're aiming to do, and then we'll work from there.
Said we need to get in close, so I'm gonna try and get in close as well.
Oh my god! You're just gonna do it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you say this to your teammates?
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah, we need to take down that iguana's ASAP. I'm going in.
All right. So you're a bit of a ways away. Okay. If folks want to respond to that, actually, I should let you respond to that.
Oh man, I think that I'm sure that Dante, that her assessment has some validity, but I trust my gut feeling. So before I respond specifically to Nadia, I would probably want to trust my gut feeling, which is the move that allows me to assess. By the way, I don't really understand how that's a valuable move. Like, I took it because it sounded cool, but like if anybody can assess, then why do I need to move to assess?
Yeah, I'm wondering about
How it's even a benefit.
yeah, I'm wondering about that. Let's see, what's it say there? You can assess new from the flimsiest evidence. Hold on. I need to double check. I might have written down the assess move wrong. No, it's like
I think it's automatic.
yeah,
But-
I think the difference is that yeah. I think I might have done it wrong in the sense of like okay, I'm not sure. If you want, you can replace that move with something else because it is a bit of a weird move. I'm not. I need to figure. I need to look into it and see what that.
Okay, I'll replace the move. I wasn't upset about it as much as just confused by it. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit confused as well. What does it mean by flimsiest evidence if assessed? Does it really require evidence?
I think Diana's suggestion of like you just get a pick is kind of cool, but also like I will just go with a new move. So that's totally cool. So then I will probably say, all right, let's go. And I'll follow Nadia.
All right. Okay. So Nadia, I will say for now you have unit cohesion, and what that means is that you all can kind of, when one person moves, you can all move with that person. You can lose cohesion when bad things happen, but cohesion is important because that's the only way you can help out other people. If you don't have cohesion, you're gonna have to spend time trying to get back into it. But for right now, since you're at the start, the four of you have cohesion. So if Nadia's gonna move to come close to the iguana, you can follow along tag if the move is a success. So Nadia, sounds like you're trying to boot it. When you haul ass to get there first in time to help or get the hell out of there. Roll plus speed.
Do you need to engage with the enemy first, or?
Oh, engagement is gonna happen.
Okay.
Because you have to, but Nadia, it sounds like you're trying to close the distance.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Let's close the distance first and see how that happens. Or actually, maybe I think Alex is right. Sorry, this is my first time running this, but like, yeah, I think you might have to engage first.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you're engaging with the enemy. You do that first every time you engage, and then we'll see how well you boot it.
Okay, so I rolled a 10. -1 is 9.
Okay, so you can choose one. You seize the initiative, which means you can act while the enemy must react. You maintain unit cohesion. Your forces are positioned where you want them. They're ready for immediate action. Or you have a tactical advantage. Establish a superior position, find cover/concealment, etc., etc. So which one of those three?
I think tactical advantage.
All right. So I think the superior position and tag you're following along with Nadia, right? Yeah. So I think the tactical advantage is that one, it's in its lonesome. Usually, the iguana has their own exo squad with them, with 4 more, but it's on its own at the moment, and it looks like it's quite a bit of ways away from its usual patrol. So you can like do attacks on it. You can attack it for sure. While it's alone, and the area you're moving on to, there are like a bunch of buildings nearby in the farmland area that you can use for cover and concealment, just in case you need to. Yeah, so that's the engagement. I think how are you engaged? How are you engaging? How are you fighting? Because I just assume you're running in to try and beat it up with your fists, but you have guns, so you don't need to do that. How are you engaging, so to speak? You're just gonna
Yeah, Nadia is basically going to ram the iguana.
Oh, so you do want to go in and smash against it. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. So that sounds like, well, okay. You don't need to. Oh, all right. This is an assault. You're leading an assault on an enemy. Seize a territory, gain attack advantage, and because you're gonna hit against it, you're not gonna fire, but tag can, because because tag is near you. You can exchange weapons fire with this thing, because it's gonna start exchanging weapons fire with you in this assault. All right, so how that works is that you see your weapons. You have those dice. You're gonna roll that number of dice, and we're gonna compare to this table here in operational moves in the moves tab. So tag, what weapon do you have?
I've got twin AC cannons. I think from my old BattleTech days, those are basically AC is 15 millimeters, so it's some kind of armor piercing. Big cannons on the shoulder mounts there, so it has near and far range. So I would try to soften up the iguana, maybe distract it a little bit, so that Nadia can close and do her crazy maneuver.
God. All right. So how many dice is in that weapon? 2D?
Just 2D. That's terrible, right? Or is that good? I don't know.
You would want as much dice to roll as you'd want, but
that's what dang it.
All right, so this sounds like a direct. The accuracy of this is direct. You're quite close to the tank, so roll 2D.
Let me ask a question, actually. Because I took the auxiliary smoke dispenser. Would it be possible if I could like dispense smoke to give one armor to Nadia for her to like crash in? Because that's what I would rather do than actually.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That sounds like a pushing it. You're pushing your hardware kind of to its limits.
Awesome. I'll do that.
Yeah. Roll plus hardware.
Roll plus hardware. Okay, I have a -1 hardware. I'm not good at this. This is why I depend on Chuey. All right, here we go.
Oops. Drop some dice there.
I got an 8.
All right. So yeah, on a hit, works out okay. So yeah, tell me what it looks like. To when you dispense the smoke.
I think along his chest plate, there are these little like circular, and most of them can actually close up, but a couple have been dented, so he doesn't use them anymore. And he shoots out a few like kind of tennis ball canister size smoke dispensers that drops and would obfuscate and give a little bit of armor to Nadia as her mauler closes in for the face to face with a much bigger, probably going to kick her ass mech.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this is a tank, so getting close was actually probably a good thing. It's a big ass tank with a railgun, but it's still gonna do well. So you roll a 7 to 9. It works out okay, but you are gonna take two. I'm gonna take 2 dice of an incidental fire. So I think the tank sees you, and it's got like a smaller like sort of cannon next to its big one, and it shoots out near you, and you are gonna be okay because I didn't roll any hits. So yeah, armor just kind of whips through. But yeah, you worked out fine. So that works out well. So now that you've now got 2 armor as you're getting close to this thing. So you want to ram against it. You're just gonna beat it
I'm
up.
gonna ram against it, and yeah, once I'm up close, I'm gonna.
Fair enough. All right, so that sounds like an assault. When you lead an assault on the enemy to like seize territory or gain a tactical advantage, spend 1 munitions and exchange weapons fire. So you're gonna spend 1 munitions of what you have,
So yeah,
and
put it down. Put 5, and roll battle. So that's an 8.
Right.
Plus 2 is 10.
Ooh. All right. So before you do that, we're gonna exchange weapons fire. So what this is you're gonna fire your weapon. What's your weapon that you're using?
I'm using the coaxial. Actually, what is near? Like,
it means it works. It only works if you're close to it.
Okay, so I'm close to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You
but-
totally can use that.
So I'm gonna use the series 40mm AC and just like blast into the side.
Nice. All right. So it's got roll 3d6.
Okay.
So tell me how many. This is concentrated because you're very close. Tell me how many. Did you get a 3, 4, 5, or 6?
I got a 5 and a 6.
All right. So you're dealing quite a bit of damage to this thing. You've broken its armor as you've slathered it with cannon fire, and it's gonna try and shoot at you. But the thing is, its railgun, it looks big and intimidating. It only has a far tag, so it can't really hit you because you're close to it. So actually running up to it and trying to beat it up close was actually the best. It was the good. Yeah, it was really good. So it can't really hit you. So even though I'll roll to see if it gets your weapons fire, it's going to be very indirect. Yeah, it doesn't hit you. The railgun fires, and maybe Dante and Chuey, you see it kind of come near you, but it's not going to hit you. But amidst all this smoke and this cannon fire, yeah, you've broken its armor, and you brought it down quite a bit. Yeah, so on a 10 plus as well, and that's all. Okay, we'll get to you, Chewy, in a moment. There's still another move
I know,
too.
but just Chewy swears in Spanish over the comms to like everybody, like because it was definitely an obvious miss to us, but yeah, just for the extra flavor.
All right. So on a 10 plus, the GM decides if they're exposed, lose cohesion, or surrender. Well, okay, this tank still has a lot to go. It's not going to surrender right now. So what's going to happen is it's going to panic. So it's going to like drive off towards the farmland, kind of away from the city, away from its reinforcements. So you've got it isolated for now, but it's running off and kind of turning its gun towards, I think to where Chuey and Dante are. Yeah, Dante. So Chewy, you see this kind of like tank rolling out, kind of smoking a bit. It's taking quite a bit of fire. You can see its armor is kind of broken. And I know your tank can't. Your mech can't actually fire. But like, how's Chewy feeling? What do you want to do? Kind of like as you see this.
I think Chuey was a little bit surprised that we went with the whole like run and gun kind of action, especially for this big ass tank and everything. Plus, also, I don't think he's retrofitted Nadia Nadia's mech to be RAM ready. So he's already thinking about like, oh my god, the repairs I'm gonna have to do. And I'm just curious because I do have. I mean, most of this is just for our people, the repair link and emergency override, but that implies hacking. So, is there any way I could use those to like try and hack the tank?
Ooh.
But there's no, and I've been like looking over the moves, and there's nothing to indicate like override because it doesn't make sense that we can override our allies, but we can't like
This sounds like a push it. You're pushing your
push it.
hardware beyond your limits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get to the moves.
Yeah, it's one of the basic moves. It's under combat.
Okay, so take 2D incidental and roll hardware.
All right. You gonna try that? So
yeah.
What does this look like? Tell me what this looks like in the fiction as you're running up.
It's since we're not as tech savvy as like the previous game, it's like in his mech because it's like big and gargoyle and lustrous. Yeah, he has kind of like a keyboard. So it's kind of like I forget what his name was in the Matrix, like one of the riggers from the Matrix. So like it's all wires and like clickety clackety, and he's just like using I think like a subroutines like okay, these tanks are all kind of the same kind of thing. Let's see if I can like somehow at least temporarily disable its main gun and everything.
Nice. All right, so you're gonna take 2D incidental. I'm gonna roll that. Yeah, no, you don't get hit. Jesus, y'all are very nimble. Either that or the enemy fire is crap. I don't know. But like...
I rolled 8, and I have 2 in hardware, so I believe that's a 10. Let me double check. Yeah, 2. So 10.
All right. Okay, so on a hit, it works out okay. On a 10 plus, either avoid damage or gain advantage from your risky move. So which one is it?
Wait. If they decide that they're exposed, please. Maybe they're more exposed?
Oh no, I'm looking at push it. That's what you were doing.
Oh, sorry. I was sorry. My bad. Avoid damage. Gain advantage.
All right, fab. So you jump in, you jump at it, you hack it with your cool hacking abilities. Well, actually, I'll let you describe how that happens.
Yeah, there's like more like over. Chewy tends to, unless someone tells him to shut up, Chewy tends to leave the comms open. So you hear the very mechanical keyboard and him swearing in Spanish and talking to himself in Spanish, but saying like, but he will like call out like, okay, I got through the system. All right, you guys should have a better chance to bring it down without actually getting hit. Although more likely Dante's going to get hit than anybody, because this stupid ass tank is not made for both near and far.
Yeah, they probably should realize that when they made this tank, or when they started out this tank. Yeah, that they can't really. It only has a far cannon. It can't shoot when people are nearby. They realize that. I think part of the advantage that you get is that you manage to hack into like its distress signal. So again, it has no reinforcements. It's out of this farm. It's a sitting duck. But you're gonna manifest a quirk because you pushed it. So you're gonna roll me a 2d6, and I'm gonna consult this table.
Okay. 5.
All right. So on a 5, okay, 5 is double ejects ammunition, permanently fill 1 munition, which doesn't matter to you because you don't have weapons. But that's a good quirk to manifest. It's like I think all the hacking stuff you're doing, it kind of overstrains what would be your weapons loadout. But You don't have weapons, so it's
yeah,
fine.
it's like when you take out the CD-ROM because you're making room for other things in your computer, and it tries to access the CD-ROM, and it's just like a whirring sound. Like, oh well, good thing. I just shrug it off.
Yeah, so you're doing fine as quirks go. All right, so Dante, that's whatever your opinions about Nadia is. She just went in, her and Tag just went in, beat the shit out of this tank. This tank is now kind of rolling out to the fields, fairly isolated, thanks to Chuey. Looks like everything's doing well. What's up with you, Dante?
You said it was near to me and Chewy now, right?
Yes, it's away from those city walls. You're
All right.
You can be quite close to it.
All right, so Dante, I think she says in response to Chewy, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna get hit. Probably. Probably. It'll be fine, and I'm gonna shoot it. I want to shoot it with my
believe in you, Miha.
Thank you. I'm gonna shoot it with my coaxial splinter gun.
Ooh. Oh, Jesus. Six dice. Yeah.
I don't know if it has armor, but it's armor or piercing, and it costs 2 munition. So.
Oh, right. Okay, so this is an assault, I assume, because you want to beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
So spend how much munitions you need to spend, and exchange weapons fire. 6 dice. That's ridiculous.
Can I suggest using a snafu point?
Ooh. Well, I think. Oh no, me and Michael Michael and us discussed it. You can't use snafu points when you're exchanging weapons fire because you're rolling a lot of dice. Because snafu makes your roll a disadvantage. That's for like when you make a move.
Yeah.
This is exchanging weapons fire.
Because that would have been an easy disadvantage.
Or for the roll plus battle. Do you mean the roll plus battle part of it?
Yeah, for the roll plus battle part.
Yeah, I'll spend a snafu when we get to that probably.
Yeah.
Depends on how this 6 die roll goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the move that Chewy did gives you initiative. So I saw one of your moves as Headhunter, so you get a plus on your accuracy of fire.
Oh, sick!
Which means it goes from direct to concentrated. So yeah, roll those 6 dice.
All right. So all right, highest. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 5. So
you're going to 3, 4, 5, 6. You want those numbers.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's 6 is critical and then 3 through 5 are direct. Okay, so it's 4 direct. 4 direct hits.
Wow. Okay.
No critical hits.
Okay. Dante, describe to me what happens when you destroy this tank. I don't know how that happened, but you managed to beat the big ass tank. What the hell? Go on. Go ahead, Dante.
I think like this gun is a nasty piece of work. I think it fires like exploding shrapnel and stuff. I bet Chewy rigged it up special. Like it doesn't have much range, but I think it just Dante sort of comes around and from behind and just sort of like hops like behind Mech still at the Aquana at a reasonable distance, but like just sort of hops behind it and hops in, shoots it with this thing, and it just like it stands there for a moment, and then like its arms fall off, and then it falls out, and then like it falls over with more pieces falling off, and it's just like got all this nasty shrapnel and junk in it.
Yeah, Jesus. So what do you say to everyone? You see this tank that was meant to be a bad thing. You've beaten it up very well.
Chewy is like, he goes, yeah, you did it, but you're not leaving me much to salvage here, because since it was all shrapnel and like. But Chewy always does that. Always complains about the lack of salvageable items.
I know you'll make do. You're welcome, everybody.
God. So yeah. Man. All right. So Jesus, I need to calm down. I need to figure out what to do next. All right. Cross out this iguana. I think you can there's a moment where you can regroup. The four of you. As I think okay, you know what? All right. I'm gonna spend a snafu point. Thanks for reminding me, Diana, that they have there. You see, and I'll give you time, don't worry. You see, like, as you kind of like gather around this tank and like, yeah, we did it. You see kind of like there's a bit of a pulse coming from the node in the middle of the city. And you can kind of see like this pulse keeps coming. It looks like the pulse is up and then the pulse comes down. And you can see it is it's almost like it's summoning, but really it's just letting land this what looks like this nasty looking like drop ship. It looks big big enough to hold something for sure. So you can see it like just slowly breaking through the atmosphere. So I'm being nice and saying it's not going to land yet unless you get to the node ASAP and destroy the node. Oh yeah. You should have taken fire from that iguana. Thanks. Thanks for that, Alex. I'm gonna roll these 4 dice. I think it's indirect fire because it's kind of panicking after all the stuff it's happening. Yes, that's kind of the cliffhanger I want to end. But thankfully Alex pointed out that it should have gotten some fire. So I'm gonna roll these 4 dice, and oh yeah. So I think in the middle of that fire, yeah, the rail gun just managed to like fire off a burst to hit you, and you're not being slippery, you're not in the move, so this is still going to be indirect. You're going to take 2 damage. And what that means is that because you only have 1 box external, do you have armor? You have armor. No, you don't.
I do not.
No, you don't. So yeah, you're going to take 2 hits. And
Okay.
what that means is you've destroyed your external and you've taken 1 critical hit. So you're going to choose from that list of critical damage conditions you got in your mech playbook.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think my auxiliary power kicks in, and I get -1 speed.
Ooh. Yeah. So you've got damage, and I think Chewy, you all see that. That's kind of.
I still have 1 speed.
Yeah, you do. But yeah, all right.
mean, once the other 2, if they decide to come back towards us, Chew's automatically going to start repairing. So, since I was right there, since I was closest, I'm going to use repair link.
Cool. I do want to go a bit of debrief. We'll open next session with that because I do want to get a bit of a debrief from folks. But yeah, you destroyed this tank. I just want to get like a shot of each person's face, kind of like as we cut through, like, oh, at the end of this episode, oh, we've destroyed this tank, but oh no, something's coming down from the space elevator, the node they've erected. So like, yeah, what do each character's like? What do they look like when you each cut to their face as you see this happening?
Chewy's ignoring the space thing and is more worried about the damage of the mechs and people. So that's his priority. Like since Dante's closest, like fix Dante and then check the other 2 since they engaged directly into combat to make sure that their mechs are okay. And it will like say over the overcoms like if like physically all the pilots are okay.
Since it's a reaction shot, tag Ishikawa's reactions to look up, and he does that thing where he like cracks his neck both ways. And he's ready to go.
Badass.
Dante just smirks.
Bit less badass, but okay.
Nadia cracks her knuckles.
God damn, group of warriors here, and thank God there's a medic. Thank God.
Medic.
Yeah, medic. All right.
If the human gets hurt, you're all shit out of luck.
Yeah, which could still happen. But yeah, thanks very much for jumping with me into this Mecha game. Thanks so much. You all been fab as always, because I know I played with y'all and I know y'all are fab. But again, I always want to get it said on the broadcast that, like, yes, y'all are fab. I love you all. You're great. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop this broadcast and we'll do a quick round of like stars wishes. I don't know if we have enough time for like a full debrief of the system. We'll leave that till the end. I just hope like y'all are comfortable at the moment, but we'll get to that after broadcast. It's not for you, YouTube folk. Check out all the stuff we plugged down the bottom. Michael, if you're watching this, hi. Congrats on a successful Kickstarter. Yeah. Say goodbye to YouTube.